Hey folks, Chris, Kentucky Woodsman. Today, I want to do a VR for Great American Survival. Marvin over at Great American Survival is having a giveaway. He's giving away 2 bare butt hammocks. Now you'll only get one, but it's the Share the Love giveaway. And what he's doing is if you get picked to win one of the hammocks, you can pay it forward to another person on YouTube, or I would assume even off of YouTube. But not only will you get a chance to win a bare butt hammock, but one of your friends will as well. Marvin has a great channel. He's a great man of God. He is a scoutmaster. He is just a great outdoorsman, has a great channel, and is very family oriented. And what he wants us to do is he wants us to tell a story. He says that around the campfire a lot of times they tell stories and all that. So I have got a small story. It's you know, it may not be the most interesting story, but it is a story. Okay, here's my story. I was in the Boy Scouts for a very long time myself. I learned a whole lot when I was in the Scouts. I learned a lot of things to do and a lot of things not to do. And this was a very important lesson early in my scouting years. We had went on a camp out, and the scoutmaster had turned us loose. He had let us go to set up our tents, set up our campsites, and you know, we were kind of within maybe a 100-yard radius of everyone else, but it was up to us to find us a place to set our tent up and a place to you know, kind of make our home for the weekend. Well, me and this buddy of mine found an old logging road, and it was a nice logging road. I mean, it was clear and had a lot of grass growing in it, and I mean, it would look like an ideal place to set up a tent. The night before, the weather was perfect. There was not a cloud in the sky. I mean, nice and warm. It just was ideal weather situations for a campsite. Well, we set up our tent. It was a small nylon pup tent. And the neat thing, and this is, a lot of you are going to catch this as soon as I say this. The neat thing about this campsite was it had this, you know, had grass growing up. It was probably 4 or 5 inches tall. And it made the best, most comfortable bed I'd ever slept in. You know, it was one of these spots that you kind of get in your sleeping bag and it's like, oh yeah, this is nice. Okay, that was where I made my first mistake. I set up in a road, and what I was actually sleeping in had been a mud puddle in the past. But the grass had grown up in it and looked like it had been a while since it had held any water. That night, we're laying in the tent. All of a sudden you hear a crack of thunder and the rain comes down. I mean, it is absolutely pouring. Well, it wasn't long that my really comfortable bed became the most uncomfortable bed I'd ever slept in, because as the rain fell, the water started coming up in what used to be a mud puddle, and now all of a sudden, instead of laying in this really comfortable grassy bowl, I was laying in probably 2 to 3 inches of water. I was soaked, I was cold, I was miserable. Now this isn't necessarily a, you know, scary story or anything like that, but it's a lesson I learned early in life. You have to be cautious when you pick a campsite. And as a young Boy Scout, that was a lesson that I learned, and I never made that mistake again. So that's my story. Like I said, not really scary, not really super entertaining, but it was a lesson nonetheless. Folks, if you've not checked out Great American Survival, go over and check out Marvin Ford's channel. You'll be glad you did. Like I said, he's having a Share the Love giveaway. It closes in 3 or 4 days now. I think it's actually April the 1st at 12 noon. You may want to check that. But he is giving away 2 bare butt hammocks. One he's giving away to you if you are chosen, and the second one will go to a person of your choice. Share the love. Go check out Great American Survival today. You'll be glad you did, and he will too.